Howdy. So how is everyone? So here's the thing. Yup. Past couple of days have been interesting. So first of all, hello. I'm back to a more regular streaming schedule now. Tomorrow I'll be streaming with Band and Goose, playing some Stardew. Depending on how this conversation goes, regular streaming schedule. Depending on how this conversation goes, depends on whether or not I'm going to be continuing stream today after I've talked about what I'm going to be talking about. Because I was debating how to talk about this subject, because it's very fresh. I know, mind, I see. It's okay. I'm good. I'm okay. So here's the thing. I've been trying to figure out how to talk about this because it's very, very fresh. To cut to the quick of it, Luna, who was my cat, she unfortunately passed away yesterday. And as you all know, if you've been on the channel for a very long time, you know that I've had Luna for quite a few years. I adopted her back in 2019 from a family friend, whose daughter had originally had her but had lost interest in her. So the dude, the dad in question of this woman, took Luna away from her and was trying to find a nice home for her. Found out we were on the market for another cat because another cat of ours had passed away the year previous, because we got Luna back in 2019. And my dad's cat, who adopted me towards the end of her life, called Nala, had passed away the year before. And we wanted another cat because we had a cat in the house called Scoosh who was on her own, and we wanted a companion for her, so we got Luna. Right. So, backstory on Luna. She was an old cat. We didn't know that when we first adopted her. When we first adopted her, we were told that she was 2 years old. She wasn't. She was 8. We were told she was 2 because that was the age that the original owner had adopted her at. She was 2 years old when the original owner adopted her. And then we got her when she was 8. So, to describe Luna and living day to day with her, she was a very anxious cat. She wasn't a particularly cuddly cat. I couldn't cuddle her, but you'd see her now and again on the back of my chair, just hanging out. She ruined my old chair, which is gone now. I actually got rid of that not like a few days ago and got my new chair, which is smaller and more comfortable and everything, and better for my back. So she used to sit on the back of my chair during streams, and she would like walk across my desk and all that fun stuff during my streams, because of course she did. She's a cat, she's gonna do that. She was interesting to live with. She was very calm. She wasn't like an overly like energetic cat. Sorry, I need to rearrange my hot water bottle. She wasn't a particularly energetic cat. She was a very calm cat from the beginning. She was a bit of a mouser. She used to catch mice when she was younger, so she continued that through her old age. We had mice, about a week ago. She was out in the garden with my mum, and there were mice running along the wall in our back garden, and she was just chasing them, and she clipped one of them and hurt his leg, and she thought that was the victory, so she went to sleep. So that was fun. She was a pretty calm cat to live with. She wasn't particularly, as I said, she wasn't particularly energetic. She just kind of hung out. She chilled. She was usually just on my windowsill or now and again she'd sleep on me while I slept. I have a photo of it. My mum got me this. Funnily enough, before she died, like 2 days before, on Friday, my mum gave me this, which is a photo book of Luna, who's at the front there. She's very, very cute. And I have a photo in here. It's a very embarrassing one because I have lost weight since. You'll probably be able to tell from the photo. So we were living at my uncle's flat for about a year, because we were homeless. If you don't know my law, that is part of it. And I was sleeping on my uncle's couch one night, one day, because I usually slept in the day because we were kind of sleeping in shifts. I explained this in a YouTube video, but that is a picture. I'm gonna cover my face because my face ain't pretty, but there's Luna just sitting on me, just lying, sleeping on me, because she did that regularly. She was a pretty kitty, very cute cat, very yeah. So getting to about a week ago, she started to slow down, started to sleep a lot, and started to cut back on her eating. She was eating like 1 or 2 mouthfuls of her food, and like having a bit of water and then falling asleep and just kind of rinsing and repeating for a week. And then Friday she stopped eating completely, didn't have a bite of food until yesterday morning, when my mum literally spoon fed her food. And my mum gave me a play-by-play about what happened because I had just woken up. So I was in bed still. I was asleep. I'd woken up at about 11 o'clock. And my mum called me in at 12:30. I was on TikTok scrolling. And I was asleep until about 11. Woke up. My mum called me into the living room at 12:30. And I opened my door and she looked at me and I looked at her and I looked at my cat, who was just in her arms with her front legs and her back legs stretched out. And she was just not there. She was completely just not okay in any way, shape or form. We weren't really sure at the time. In that moment, we weren't really sure what happened. We kind of assumed something had happened because she wasn't her usual self. By the way, I am able to talk about this now. I couldn't yesterday. I tried a lot. But I think when I was in VC, because I was in VC pretty much all night, understandably, people were very, very, very hesitant to talk about anything to do with Luna and what had happened or asking any questions. They just kind of sat with me and didn't really ask any questions, which I appreciated, but also I really wish they had. I understand why they didn't. They didn't want to like have me be hurt, but at the same time, it would have been better if I had been talking about it, because whilst I understand their want to keep my mental health safe, my mental health is perfectly safe. I'm okay. She was my cat, she was mine, because I adopted her, so she was definitely my cat because we were attached at the hip. She just wasn't allowed in my room in the last few months of her life because she would have a habit of peeing on my bed. So she wasn't allowed in my room. She kind of had a ban on it, which I have grown to regret, that ban on my room, because obviously, you know, hindsight is 2020. You look back and you're like, I mean, it wasn't like I could just clean my mattress. Like, it's not like, it's fine. Like, it's not like it happened all the time. It happened on a couple of occasions and all that kind of stuff, and all I had to do was change my bed and like clean my mattress how I usually do, and just, yeah, I could have dealt with it. Like, it is very much hindsight is 2020. But so yesterday all day pretty much was spent essentially waiting for her to pass on, because it took her, and this isn't me like going, oh, it took her this long. No, I'm just stating facts here. It took her about 2.5 hours to pass. So we were in the lounge at first, and then we took her into the garden because she loves the garden, or loved the garden. It was her favourite place to go. She would beg to go outside all the time. She'd be sitting by the back door waiting for us to put her harness on and take her out. So we took her outside, and she did the usual. If you've had an animal that's passed away and you've been there whilst they passed away, she did all the usual things that an animal does when they're passing away. She lost control of her bowels and her bladder and everything. And she, the only way I can describe it is she started crying. It sounded like a baby was crying. And it was the most heartbreaking sound I've ever heard in my life. We had a few, and this is going to sound really morbid, but we had a few laughs during it because she kept hissing at us, which she's never done. She's never hissed at me. She's hissed at my mum, and she hissed at my dad before he passed away, but she's never hissed at me. She refused to hiss at me until yesterday when she decided that I was the one that was, you know, in the wrong here, and clearly it was my fault. Which I know it wasn't, by the way. I have only good memories with the cat. Like, she was just... I mean, she was my cat. So she's... You know, she was just very precious to me. So I have good feelings about her. I have no horribleness. I'm able to talk about her passing without crying now, but I think that's literally because I am at the point of numb. I have no emotions running through me right now. If I like walk out and I see like her cat tray, or I see a piece of furniture I got for her, like her little cat tree that I had in my room like months ago when I had her in here and all this kind of stuff, you know, if I see that kind of thing, I have a moment of tears and I have a cry, and then I move on. Me and my mum sat with her for those 2.5 hours. My mum at first was holding her, and we're a pagan household, and if the reason my mum was holding her was because she was really trying to just keep her here. She wanted so badly to not lose this fur baby granddaughter that she had that was just not okay. She was holding on to her, and in the end she had to put her down on her chair where she usually would sit and sun herself. She had a favourite chair that she'd sit on in the garden where she would sunbathe and sleep. So we laid her on there, and I sat next to her and gave her scritches on the head. By this point, Luna was completely blind. She couldn't see anything. The way you know this, and this is like kind of morbid, but the way you know it is if their eyes start flitting really fast, like backwards and forwards when an old animal is passing. Like their eyes just flit because they're trying to like see. Essentially, they're trying to find something that they can see. They can't see anything. So she was blind at this point, but she could still hear us and still feel that we were there. We were very much aware that she was gone way before she stopped breathing. Because she kept having seizures, like back-to-back seizures. I think she had 2 or 3 before she passed. And she kept trying to hiss, but she couldn't because she couldn't really breathe. So at I think around about 3 p.m, that's when she just stopped. Everything stopped. She stopped breathing, she stopped hissing, she stopped everything. And that was it. And then we sat there for a little while. I didn't really know what to do because I've never been with any living being, whether it be human or creature, like animal, like pet, whatever. I've never been in the situation where I've been able to watch it happen. I've never been there for the whole process. So I sat with Luna the entire time. I didn't leave her side. But it was horrible because I couldn't do anything. I couldn't, like, ease what she was going through, because the reason she was hissing was because she didn't know what she was going through, because obviously she'd never been through it. So it was not a fun experience. I wouldn't recommend it. Sorry, I need to yawn. As you can probably tell, I didn't get much sleep last night. I left call, for me it was around about 5:30, and then I didn't get to sleep until about 6. And then I woke up at 9 a.m. and I haven't slept since. Fun. I think I had like a little nap earlier, but I'm not really sure because I just kind of came to and I was watching a video. So, yeah. Luna passed away yesterday at 3:20 p.m. And then we shrouded her because we don't just... I don't know how you guys do it, but in our family we don't like just bury our little furry family members in the ground without first putting a shroud on them, blessing them, putting like treats with them, or like something that's like their favorite thing. I have her favorite toy. I didn't put it in with her because I didn't feel happy burying that toy with her, because I have a toy of my first hamster, which sounds really stupid, but I had a hamster called Kyla, and I still have a toy of hers, so I wanted to keep a toy of Luna's. And she wasn't a playful cat, she really wasn't, but if she was going to play with something, she played with the toy that I kept. I'm not going to show the toy, because if I do that I am going to cry, and I don't really want to, so I'm not going to. But yeah, she was shrouded and blessed, and we put some of her favourite treats in with her, gave her one last pet, sewed up the shroud, and then we left her overnight, because we leave it at least 24 hours before we bury, because reasons. And so this morning we buried her in our back garden under a tree next to a rose bush, in her favourite spot to sunbathe in. So she's okay. Luna wasn't my first cat. I have had cats in the past. I had a grand total of 2 in my life. One being a little cat called Poppy that I had when I was like 7. I don't really remember much about her. She was stolen, and I never saw her again. Hello, Liquid Tendril, welcome on in. I never saw her again and all that, but that was... I don't remember much about her. And then we had Nala, who was my dad's cat. She was my dad's cat. She wasn't my cat, but she was my dad's cat, and I loved her as well. She was adorable. Beautiful little fluffy ginger ragdoll cat. But Luna was definitely my fur child. Very much my soul cat, and was very much my little best friend that would follow me around the house. Literally follow me around the house. If I went into like another room, she'd just watch me from the room that she was in, just watch me walk, and just wait until I go somewhere that she maybe wants to go with me into. usually the bathroom. I'd never go to the bathroom on my own, but I'd always lift her up and gently put her outside the bathroom door and go, no, darling, and close the door again. See, we don't have familiars in our family. A lot of pagan families do it differently, but we don't really do familiars here. We have what are called dragons, which are like essentially spirit guides that just kind of keep us level, which is how I'm able to stay a pretty decent human being, because I generally kind of go by what my spirit guide will give me. And it sounds all very spiritual and like hippie, but like I mean it's practical and it works. So I mean but no, Luna was my little soul animal, and she was my little best friend, and I'm gonna miss her. At the moment, she's kind of all me and my mum talk about, obviously, because she literally died yesterday. I've found that whilst going through this, because I've not really gone through this with a pet in a number of years, you know, I just haven't gone through this in a really long time. The last time that I went through like a pet death was my first hamster, Kyla, because she was I literally could just have her in my t-shirt and she'd just fall asleep in my bra and just stay there, and I could just have her there for ages, just chatting with my parents, and just have her just in my t-shirt, just curled up asleep, and then I'd put her back in her cage and everything. But she was a tiny little gentle soul who I loved to absolute pieces. I loved her so much. But Luna hits different because she was my cat, and she and I had a lot of very good times, and she made me very happy in the time that she was here, because I had her for only 5 years, because I didn't know she was 8 when I got her. But I have no regrets. I still would have had her even if I knew her actual age back then. But yeah, it's been very rough, but I found a lot of things that have been very difficult to kind of maneuver. One of the things being my relationship. Bunny has been pretty kind of simple, if only because and Bunny, if you see this, don't, I love you very, 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 very much. I love you to absolute death. I would do anything for you. But it's a very like new relationship, right? So, and she's got cats, so she understands like the mental toll it takes on you when a cat passes away, because she's been through it quite a few times. She goes straight out and gets a new cat. Like, that's her way of coping. So she's never down to one cat. She's always got 2. And that's how like what she's used to, right? I can't do that. Because do you know, before the stream I was like, I won't cry. It's fine. But we still have a lot of her stuff in the flat. And we have a lot of her scent, and there's bits of her fur all over the place, and she has left a mark on the house and on everybody in the house, to the point where if I got a cat right now, all I would do is compare that cat unfairly to Luna. And Luna, in my brain right now, as the person I am right now, I can only think of her as like the perfect cat. Like, she was just so well suited to my own mental health and my own lifestyle and everything that I do on the daily, because I am a busy person during the day. You don't know this. I am a busy person. I do shit during the day that isn't conducive to an energetic cat, which is why, or at the time, it wasn't. Now it's like I'm cool with it. Like I'd take on a kitten that's like energetic. I don't care. But if I did take on a kitten right now, I'd only compare that kitten to Luna. But yeah, I I couldn't bring in another cat right now. Not right now, but we're gonna be looking into it in a couple months, because I can't live in a house where there isn't just a furry little pair of feet running around. And nor can my mum. And we've already noticed how weird it is not having Luna sitting on the windowsill or sitting in the kitchen, looking at me, waiting for me to take her outside to just sit in the sun for a bit, because that's what she wanted to do all the time. Or yelling at me in the morning to feed her. This morning was really weird because I got up and there wasn't a cat waiting for me to feed her at 9 a.m. And that was weird because I was weird. We went out, we couldn't afford to get a coffee or anything, but we went to a coffee shop that's just across the road from us. And we talked about Luna the entire time. And then I got home and I almost called for her because that's what I did. When we got home from the coffee shop, I'd call her to give her pets or some treats because, she'd been good. Or she'd have been sitting on the windowsill and I'd have gone up to the window and I tapped on the window to wake her up and let her know that we're home and stuff. And I'd give her a few scritches and she'd just look at me as though I've annoyed her by waking her up and all this kind of stuff. And we didn't get that today. And that sucked. It's those kind of things that suck really bad because it's a change in routine more than anything, which is another thing I've been struggling with, is a change of routine. We didn't have that coming in today, and because I'm so used to just kind of leaving my room now and again to go and get a drink or go and do some stuff or take a shower or whatever. Usually Luna would be sat on the windowsill next to my mum in the living room, but she's not there. And it's weird. I will tell you, it's weird. It doesn't discourage me from getting another cat, because I'm going to get another cat. Because I can't deal with not having a cat in the house. We have 2 budgies now. And that's it. Who are lovely, but they're my mum's budgies. And that was my cat, who was loved by both me and my mum, and also my dad before he passed away. So we know that she's at least being taken care of. And we've been thinking of scenarios that, she's on my dad's lap, leaving fur as she did, and asking, demanding some salmon, and asking for treats, and running around the grass, and jumping from fence to fence because she can. Because she couldn't, because she'd hurt her leg, and she was getting old, so she just didn't want to jump anymore. And she was losing a lot of energy, she lost a lot of weight, but over the Rainbow Bridge, she's fully fluffy, no anxieties, no nothing, and jumping everywhere, and annoying the hell out of my dad. So I've had the anger of why, and and I yelled at my dad's ashes that are on my desk. I yelled at my dad, or not yelled, but I had a conversation with my dad's ashes of why. I think I spent most of yesterday either crying or just completely spaced out. Because I couldn't think of anything else to do after she passed away than to put an announcement out like I did when my dad passed. About Luna, because I know that a lot of people in my community knew of her and knew that she existed, and I felt that people should know. If you find that I'm in a VC with you, and you know me, like we're friends, right? If we're in a VC together, don't be scared to bring up Luna, because yes, it may make me cry. It will make me tearful. It will sting a little bit. If you have any like further questions about what happened, then you can ask me, but I'll give you all the details I can right now. My mum picked her up and gave her a cuddle yesterday morning, and then put her on the windowsill because Luna just seemed a little bit off, a little bit spaced out. So she put her on the windowsill, turned her back for like 2 seconds to pick something up, and Luna had a seizure, had a stroke, not a seizure, a stroke, and fell off the windowsill, and my mum had to pick her up again, and that's when everything started, and it took her 2.5 hours to pass. So that's all the information that I can give you. I'm not going to go into like the horrible details. All I can say is that she did pass away, and she passed away looking like she was just relaxing. We couldn't close her eyes. But she looked like she was just relaxing and giving us the 1,000-yard stare, as she usually did. She just looked like she was relaxing in the sun. So she passed away without pain, and she passed away knowing that we were there and knowing that she was loved, which is, I feel like, the main thing. So if you want to talk about your pets and you want to talk about like your dogs or your cats or anything like that, you can. I'm not going to sit there and police what you can talk about. Obviously, talk about it as much as you would like to. They're your pets, they're your fur babies. You love them, and that is completely valid. I'm not going to make my grief stop you from loving the pets and the little fur babies you have. Because I loved mine a lot, obviously, because she was my little fur baby. But just because I loved mine a lot doesn't mean that I'm going to stop you from talking about yours. So continue talking about them. I'd love to hear about them. I'd love to see them. Just don't be surprised if I don't immediately respond, because it will take me a minute to respond to any questions or any conversations you want to have. Don't not talk about her. I mean, I have fucking emotes, and I think I still have the emotes on my channel of her. Yep. I have No, that's not the... That's a fucking maid dress emote. I have these little emotes of her. So it's, you know, not like she's not gonna be acknowledged, because she will always be acknowledged. I've got emojis on my server of her. They've been there since the beginning of the server because she was my cat and she was a big part of the community and a lot of people knew her. She loved band streams, loved them. I don't know what it was about band, really don't know, but she loved band to pieces. She thought they were fantastic. Because she'd just sit there and she'd just watch. She'd be staring at my screen and just watching band very intently, just watching, not the gameplay. Like, she'd be specifically sat in a position where all she'd be looking at is band and like just band, not the gameplay, not anything that's happening on the screen, just band. She'd just sit on my lap and watch them. So don't stop talking about her, because the minute you stop talking about her, she's really gone, right? She's not fully gone. She's still around. She's gonna haunt us for a while, probably, and then she's gonna come back in a cat that I'm sure I'll find again. But yeah, so that's what happened with Luna yesterday. I will tell you, it wasn't expected. We were not expecting her to go yesterday. We were expecting it soon, but we weren't expecting it like yesterday. We were expecting maybe... I was hoping that she'd stick around until Swarm had been and gone. Like, I was hoping she'd stick around until at least September so that Swarm could at least meet my cat, you know, because he isn't going to be able to meet my dad. So I was like, well, at least as long as you meet my cat, it's kind of the most important thing, because she needs to accept you, because it's my cat. She liked his voice, though. She thought that his voice was lovely, because she'd immediately, like, perk up whenever I'd wherever I'd have left on my phone, or if I'd be just sitting here at my desk and she'd be in here with me, and she'd sit and she'd listen through the headphones, because obviously cats' hearing is just fucking insane. And she'd just sit and she'd listen. So, our community fur baby has passed on unexpectedly, completely unexpectedly. We were not ready for it. I wasn't ready. I really wasn't ready to say goodbye. I almost called an emergency vet, but my mum just looked at me and went, like, honey, she's passing. Like, she's not having like a medical emergency. She's passing away. Like, she's dying. So yeah. But that's what happened. As you can probably imagine, I don't really feel like playing a game now. But I wanted to just kind of give you that little information stuff for Luna, because I felt it was important for you guys to know exactly what happened and why it happened and how. I don't even really know how, but it did. But as you can probably imagine, I don't really feel like playing a game right now. Yeah, we'll chat after you get home from work. I'm going to be getting into a VC because being on my own at the moment is not an experience I want to have, you know. So mind if you're in chat. I'm going to be going into VC if you want to go join, and I'll be there in a second once I've raided and everything. I probably Well, I know I'm gonna be around tomorrow for Stardew. I already know that one. That's like non-negotiable at this point because I have missed about 3 or 4 sessions at this point. I just wanted to give you guys that bit of information and the kind of bomb of information. I'll probably be pretty subdued during streams and stuff just for a little while. I feel like understandably